Shit. Testing. You hearing anything? Test 1, 2, 3. I can't hear anything through my headphones. All right. I think we've got our audio demons beaten here. Apologies for the delay, but we're underway here at North Hobart Oval. The TSL action between North Hobart and Launceston. It's been a great start by the home side, and they're inside 50 again here. Tommy Lefebvre has taken the mark 45 from home, sending it deep to the square, looking for McCulloch. Did anyone get a touch on that? It's bounced through for a goal, and the Demons have two in the opening 2 minutes. It's the dream start here. McCulloch sees it through. Lefebvre with the goal. He joins Joshua Hilda on the scoreboard. And Cam Brown joining me for commentary today. What a start by the Demons.
Terrific start through for North Hobart. Looked like it was going to hold the goal. We just saw a long-range shot there, right on the 50, and he was the player that set up the goal assist for Josh Hilda in the first couple of minutes. So 2 goals inside 3 minutes. A terrific start for North Hobart, who start as underdogs today against Launceston.
It's been the perfect start for them as Spencer White will ruck against Joe Groenewegen. Groenewegen wins this one down. Followed up his work, couldn't take it away. Cleared out of the area by Wright, up towards half forward. Clean take, getting a handball away just in time was Cleaver. Got to Lefebvre, but the Blues will see this one away. The kick eluding Dylan Riley, though. He just knocks it forward. Bit of an awkward bounce. In comes House, flicks a handball out towards Gillow. Palfreyman scoops it over the top. And a driving tackle sees Jamison House out of play, and they get stuck into him after the Demons, after a flat couple of weeks, have come out firing it. Bringing the heat early in this one. Back into play. Demons on the attack once more. Spencer White takes front position. House laying a tackle. In comes Gussie Norton. Handball out to White. Cleaver. He couldn't take clean possession. And a push in the back has been called. It'll be a free kick to Hines at half-back for the Blues. So Hines sends it up towards the wing, was looking for his big ruckman, but just pushed it a little wide, and it's out of bounds on the full. Jackson, he sends it to half-forward. Hines well positioned. From behind was White. Jamison House trying to take it away, but he's got some pressure coming from Tilbury.
Certainly a good start for North Hobart. Launceston had the first inside 50, but since then North Hobart very much up and about, hands on the footy first.
So Norton lays a tackle there, ball spills out, Gillow spun around, but there's going to be a free kick going the way of the Blues. A hold on Paul Freeman. Doesn't have anything He likes immediately, so wheels off to his right and drives it down towards the wing. Groenewegen a likely target, floated over his head. Cohen Stephenson takes it out the back, slams it on the left. His kick just over the top though of Bingham. White got it through there, and that's a lovely kick. Bingham following up his work, finds a target inside forward 50. It's Josh Hilda who'll set sail from 40. It's drifting towards the goal line. McCullough couldn't quite complete the mark.
He probably could have gone back and steadied there, young Josh Hilda. It was a super handball from Spencer White just to set up the inside 50 kick from Josh Bingham.
As the Blues will blast it on out of there. Harper from fullback. The spoil came from Williams in the side today. But the Blues now down the wing. Hines got a handball away. Jones hitting up. They go backwards to go forwards, and they'll head inside 50 for the first time since the opening exchanges. Hines is lurking. It eludes him out of play.
Yeah, a player they'll have to watch very closely today. North Hobart, Jake Hines, 9 goals last week. Ably assisted by young Liam Jones, who bobbed up with 3.
It's certainly a dangerous pairing they've got down there. Hines been in great form this year. Pfeiffer competing there. I reckon that one's slapped away. Coming through is Cowley. Now a play for a throw in once more. Pretty reasonable conditions for football here today. Slightly overcast, fairly cool day, but not too much of threat of rain about. Wind shouldn't be much of a factor. It's going to be McGuinness doing the ruck work. Also Jackson doing the ruck work this time against Groenewegen. McGuinness playing just at his feet. He's lurking here as Bingham gets in there. Again, the ball not coming out. Umpire calls for it. Jackson and Groenewegen. Just a scrum round the ball at the moment.
You mentioned Hines. Stevenson with the job on him today for North Hobart. A big task for him.
Back into play once more. Ruckman more interested in pushing each other than the ball. It just pitches there. House lurking. McGuinness first to it. Going through was White, but it'll be a throw in. So repeat stoppages here at half forward for the Blues. Really going. They've been jumped by the Demons. 13-0 their lead. So we toss back in once more. Jackson with his left just palms it down. Barwick was there. Over the shoulder for a kick going the way of the Blues. Groenewegen hands it off to Gillow. Half the driver driving it inside 50. Sliding in and taking an intercept was Zach Barrow. Impressed last week for the Demons, one of his side's better players, and he'll drive him outside 50 here looking for White. Flicked away from him. Ball hits the deck. Hilda gathers, tries to beat a couple of tacklers and can't. He's gone. Joey Harper eating him up. Free kick in the middle of the ground, and he wants to get it moving quickly. Gives the handball. They'll drive it inside 50 through Foley. Jackson slotting back, couldn't get a hand to it. Hyatt grabs it, got the handball out. The Demons should be able to clear the area. Gus Norton handballing away, and they'll send it outside, but it's a poor kick straight down the throat of Cowley. Cowley, Groenewegen drifting down towards the goal square and marking target. Cowley just plays on. He's in range, but he skewed the kick a little, just steps it up there, and the intercept is taken by Edmondson. And Edmondson's kick's a shocker. Was looking for Roberts, puts it straight out of bounds on the full. And the type of errors that kill you. And a chance to shoot from the tight angle and maybe square one up here for Pfeiffer. There's a look inboard. Didn't see anything he likes, so opens up the angle and snaps it with the left. It was always drifting across the face, though. And the Blues' first score of the afternoon is a behind. Short to Campbell. In the back pocket. Lee Campbell sends them outside 50. Foley read that well, and he takes a strong mark. Gives the handball across there to Joby Harper. Joby Harper pumps them deep inside the forward 50. Poke with the spoil. Spilled out to White. Has to get rid of it. Just gets the handball away. And they're able to see it through via Williams. So Roberts from fullback. This has been an area that's plagued them in recent weeks, the Demons, trying to clear that defensive 50. Harper again positioning himself well, but White did nicely at the contest. Running over the top of it there, though, was Sam Wright. Now Spencer White. And he's tackled there by Joby Harper, heavily involved early on here for the Blues. Umpire will toss it up in the middle of this wonderful oval. Groenewegen palmed it down, trying to get a kick away. Jamison House. White came through, swept the handball to McGuinness. McGuinness driving and looking for McCulloch. Pitches just in front of him. Following up there's Jonty Barwick. Flicked out, claimed and a tackle as Gillow. And he's going nowhere.
The tackling pressure's been good from North Hobart right from the start of this game. We mentioned their start. Really pleasing for them.
Flipped over the top, Bingham coming through, handed it off there, the flying shot from right, top of the square, McCulloch bustling away, through the hands though of Foley, and they'll just rush this one through. So 2-2-14, a 2-goal lead for the Demons early. 10 minutes played here, Joey Harper. And a quarterback type role for his side today, taking the kick-outs and has been launching their attacks from the middle of the ground so far. A couple of spearing kicks here, but Barrow did well just to get a fist in. Now the ball back in dispute. Bolferman, tumbling kick off the deck, might follow it up and gather his own work. That looked a little throwish there, and the umpire spotted it. It was a little flick around the back, and the umpire alert to it. That was his intent, but certainly how the action came out. Free kick Demons. Chip short. Broken up nicely by Liam Jones. Now Bailey Gillow wants to turn onto his right, but he turned into trouble and he's caught holding the football. That tackling pressure you mentioned, Cam, really coming to the fore early from the Demons. Edmondson sends them to half forward. Off hands. The Blues will take it away and they'll try and execute a switch, but it might be to the favour of the Demons. Hustling out after this one's Riley. Just taps it in front of him. The numbers favour North Hobart. Turning with it, Sam Wright. Chips in looking for White, but diving in was Bailey Gillow to intercept. Gillow flicks the handball to Hyatt. Hyatt dishes off. A chance now for Pfeiffer. He turns and sends it deep towards the goal square. Wrestling match there. Off hands. The snap kick. The goal. The Blues get it through Jones. Front and centre was the youngster, and he snaps through there first of the afternoon.
Well, he continues his outstanding start to the season, Liam Jones. We know him as a best and fairest winner at Devils level last year, predominantly playing in the midfield, but a different role for him at Launceston this year, probably spending 60-70% of the time up forward. And he's been in great goal-kicking form this year, and he probably should have. He was actually free in that inside 50. And his teammate had elected to have a shot at goal, but he was in a perfect spot front and centre, and another neat finish from him around the corner.
Yeah, great positioning for someone just learning the spot up there. Good goal scoring instincts, and he's shown that. Back to the middle. Jackson up against Pfeiffer. Jackson easily won it down, but Tilbury couldn't take it away. The Blues should get the clearance here, and they'll thump it forward through Jamison House, playing on the ball today. Off hands. Charging onto it again is Jones. Jones sets sail. It's going to bounce across the face and just miss. But again, getting into dangerous positions early on. Didn't go out in the end. Gus Norton will take the ball. Handball will turn that under a little bit of pressure. Blasted out of there by Monks towards the wing. Strong mark taken there. It was Pfeiffer.
He's been a good pick-up for North Hobart this year, Monks. He spent his junior footy at Lauderdale and then a bit of time at Hobart.
Jackson spoils this one. Thumped away by Finlay Pike. Taking a man on was Williams. He shrugged him, then thumped it out towards the wing. It's a 3-on-2 there in favour of the Blues. They have the numbers. And the Demons do pretty well to halve the contest in the end, and it just went out of play before Norton could tumble it forwards.
Yeah, we mentioned Liam Jones, one of those players in the initial state squad too, Drewy, with the representative game coming here against Queensland on July the 1st, I think it is. And currently 7 players in this Launceston team that are in that squad.
Yes, there's some real talent out there on display today, that's for sure. Gus Norton lays a tackle, ball spills out in the tackle. And trying to take the man on there was House. Demons force the turnover through Bingham. Sends them towards half forward. Spoil came from behind from Presnell. Umpire spots a free kick though. Half forward. He's got McCulloch inside 50. Instead he goes wide to Gus Norton, tight to the boundary line. Norton drives the shot from the pocket, but he hung it near side, and it's a minor score only.
Probably a low percentage shot, but in fairness to him, there wasn't anyone really at the top of the goal square where he could have centred. So he elected to have the shot, young Gus Norton.
So once more clearing the area is Joby Harper, and he gives it a mighty heave. Off hands out the back. Tilbury just overran it. Now the Blues could be out, but House wouldn't have the ball sit for him. Turning into a little bit of trouble in the end with Sandrick, and there'll be a ball up. Again, the tackling from the Demons doing well to halt the promising moment. Jackson thumps it towards the boundary side, scooping out round. There's Barrow, won't quite get to it first though. Lays the tackle, in support comes Norton. They do well to hold him up once more. Thrown back into play. Pfeiffer comes over the top, punched it down, tumbling kick towards half forward. Just over the top of it was Sandrick. Flicked out, and now they'll drive it in the Hines direction. Hines in a one-on-one, doing pretty well though in defence with Stephenson, but it fell back to Hines, got his kick away. It was a scrambled attempt, and it's wide of the mark.
Yeah, that's why he's so dangerous, Hines. He reads it so well in the air. Very balanced player. Rarely loses his feet.
Always a key is that one off the hand of Jackson. Thrown in forward for the Blues. They're just settling back into the contest after being jumped in the opening couple of minutes there by the Demons.
And Launceston, there's some opportunities too for some younger players that are probably making their way at TSL senior level. Launceston with Showmakers and players like McKercher, Leach out of the team playing representative underage football at the moment. So, as we mentioned, Launceston probably a little bit depleted in terms of their best 22 today, so North Hobart probably get a real opportunity.
Back in once more, Jackson up against Pfeiffer. Turning away with it there is Cowley. They're into a bit of trouble. Polferman just gets the handball away inside. Demons win the football back. They go looking for McCulloch here, but Harper just outpointing him. Takes the mark. Busy early, Jody Harper chips it wide, and they'll go the outer wing here through Tyrrell. He's forced to halt for a second as he waits for teammates to get forward. Kicks now to a big pack, and a strong mark taken by Hyatt. Good pair of hands in amongst the traffic. He'll send them further forward. Goes looking for Jones, won't quite find him. Stephenson gets in there. Swinging round on there is Jody Harper. How will it bounce? Just wide of the mark. Through for a behind. Blues starting to generate some scoring looks now. Still trail in this game as Norton chips this one short for Roberts. Roberts wants to get the ball moving quickly. He has Spencer White in some space and has peeled off and found him. Who's the next link in the chain here? Might be forced to kick to a contest. With Spencer White. Oh, just sells a little bit of candy there to Ship on the mark, but then he ran into some trouble and it rather impacted the kick. Out of bounds on the full.
You can see he was really trying to attack the corridor. That was something he wanted to do. It was reluctance for him to go down the line, and in the end just turned it over.
So Hines of the Jaden variety will send his side towards the half-forward line. And again, it's a nice mark taken by Hyatt. That's 2 in a minute from him, and he'll send them deep looking for Hines. Just kept his feet and spilled out behind to Campbell. He'll just draw the pressure and walk it across the line.
It was a nice kick from Hyatt because it was at the favoured side of Hines, natural left footer.
Barrow chips it short to Stephenson, just getting hemmed in a little bit for the last few moments, the Demons. The Blues pushing hard here, but 1 goal 5 to show for it. A little inaccurate. Barrow clears defensive 50, over the head though of Jackson, and once again Jody Harper. We've seen stacks of it early, and this is a good kick to Hines' advantage. The flying spoil came from Stephenson. Barrow slid in. Crashing in there was Cowley. There'll be a ball up.
He started pretty well, Stephenson. As we mentioned, he's got a big task today. He's competing really hard in the air and he's conscious of his opponent at ground level.
He's already had to deal with 3 one-on-ones early on here. It's been a matchup they've been looking to kick to.
You're quite right, Drew. They're trying to isolate Hines.
This one's handed over the top. Demons out there, and Norton's able to break free of Hines. He sends the handball. It wasn't the best one to Barwick. Barwick made it work. Got it to Liefheber. Liefheber rushed his kick a little. McCulloch's got 3 to beat here, and just dropping in front with Samuel Foley.
Yeah, you're right. They just got to lower their eyes because they had Foley back. Joby Harper was also back, and Liefheber just going for distance there. So North Hobart just have to be careful on that transition because Launceston are well set up behind the football.
Sent long to a pack. Off hands. Fell the way of Cowley. Turns it around the corner. Out of bounds on the full. Not what he was looking for.
Now, it's been a scrappy opening, hasn't it, really, 20 minutes in. Both teams really not having a lot of success in transitioning the football.
As Hobart loses his footing in the most inopportune of moments. He's in acres of space at half back. Instead it'll be a throw in. Just the slip there. And who's been busy early on for the Demons. Back into play once more. Groningen back in the ruck. This one palmed down. Just copying one in the face there was Jackson. House is tackled strongly. Umpire calls for it in the middle of the ground. Jackson tries to take it away. Couldn't get his kick away though. Handball in there. In the middle of the ground with strength. Got it to Hines. Hines tries to shrug a tackle, then forced to handball it away. Leifheber with the tackle on Paul Freeman. Spilt the way of Hines. He picks it up. He too is tackled. And the umpire pings him.
Yeah, I think it's one thing that the North Hobart coaching staff would be really pleased with is about the intent that North Hobart have come out today and their tackling pressure. Probably the third or fourth holding the ball decision they've won today. Just need, this is probably the kick here from Norton where the intercept marking from Launceston is probably the only blemish so far. That's a good presentation.
Culloch sliding in to take a mark, working his way up. He's been a little isolated deep. Just trying to get himself involved. And it's a good mark there. And Norton just gets in Hyatt's ear off the boundary. Kilos rather, as McCulloch launches this one. Just holds up a tad. Jones tried to take it away, left it behind. Smashed out of there once more by Jody Harper. McCulloch is still back there and he's able to take an uncontested mark. His handball into the middle of the ground finds Campbell. Campbell chips it and stretching his Monks. Can he find a target inside 50 Monks? Well, I'm not sure it was his intended target. Off hands in the end. Spilt the way of Bingham, who got claimed holding the football. And the Blues will charge off half back through Paul Freeman. Weaving through the traffic, his handball over the top for O'Neill. Gave it back to Paul Freeman. Slaps it on the boot, but Campbell was parked back there and he takes the mark. His kick, a shocker. Turns it straight over into the middle of the ground and they could be exposed back the other way as House drives them forward looking for Jones. To his side, but wasn't necessarily to his advantage as it goes out of bounds and it'll be a throw in.
Yeah, he'd be frustrated there, Liam Jones, because he was out. It's just the ball use, isn't it, from both teams transitioning out of the defensive 50. Both teams are well set up to intercept the footy. Hence a bit of an arm wrestle in this first quarter.
Back into play once more. Pfeiffer came from behind with the tap. Sandrick just got his kick away. Trapping it and blasting it out of there was Hilda. Again, chopped off. The Blues will send it inside 50. No, instead we'll square it up to Presnell. Intelligent kick. Presnell kept it moving. But run down was House. And again, holding the football to goal.
Yeah, just lack of awareness there from young Presnell. Handball to a player, a teammate who was always going to be under pressure. Bingham's going to come back over the mark. Always been a really good tackler, Josh Bingham.
You retreat across here and had plenty of time, Campbell, so it was all right that he spilt the mark. He's kicked, though, a poor one straight to McCormick. The wind does seem to be impacting things a bit out there at the moment.
And it's a second or third kick of Campbell's, which hasn't come off the boot very well at all.
McCormick just sets it up inside 50. The fly came, not quite taken by Pfeiffer, but Hyatt snapping and snapping. Truly, it's a fantastic goal from Isaac Hyatt. He started this game well. And the Blues get their second of the afternoon. They lead by 2.
Yeah, he's started extremely well, Drew. He's impressed with a couple of marks that he's taken early on in this quarter, and that's a nice finish around the corner from the former Devil. And probably on balance, North Hobart probably would be a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, they started brightly, didn't they? They find themselves behind.
Yeah, just the 4 goals kicked so far in this quarter. But you mentioned about the breeze, and it does look to be a bit fluky if we're going to give some of the players an out for their skills, because it's been a quarter which has been marred by lots of turnovers and errant kicks.
Yeah, it was all right pre-game, but just looking at some of the trees and construction tape around the ground, I don't think it's picked up pretty significantly as McGuinness is tackled there by Gillow. Young player there, and holds him up.
You mentioned McGuinness. He's one of those North Hobart players who are in the state squad, so he'll be keen to impress today. Jack McCulloch, another one of those.
Thrown up in Groenewegen, thumps it towards the boundary side. Tight confines towards the line. Canny comes in and sees it across. What do you reckon McGuinness's best position is? Seems like a real utility type.
Yeah, they've used him all over the place, haven't they? I think his best foot is that I've seen, particularly at junior levels, been played across half back. Normally, he's certainly improved his ball use as his career has gone on. It's been a lovely size.
This one's back into play, forced on by Gillow. Handball from that man McGuinness to Lefebvre to Norton. Norton screws it around the corner, but can't keep it in as he tries to find Rice.
But having said that, they've had to do things a little bit differently this year. Norton spending a little bit more time in the midfield. Sam Wright, first year of TSL footy, has been one of their major on-ballers. They've moved Sandrick down back. So they've had to spin the magnets a little bit with a few players leaving the footy club. There's another awkward floating kick.
Yeah, just seemed to hit a wall of wind there as some pressure came from behind there. Forced an errant kick. Dancing through some traffic there, just getting away in time. No, not in time. Umpire's called the free kick. Ball from the recipient. He sets sail from just inside 50. Won't quite have the journey. Almost clunked down there. See your bodies in the goal square, and the Demons will try and see it out. Hilda under some pressure here. Tyrrell comes in, almost completes the intercept. Now he's claimed a tackle. Just got the handball away in time. McCormick slams it on the boot, squares it up and finds a marking target in Dylan Riley.
Yeah, look, it was a smart kick from young McCormick. He was under pressure, and Dylan Riley was just in the right place at the right time. You'd expect him to kick it. He's kicked some big bags for Launceston against North Hobart at this very ground over the years. Just been asked by umpire Chris Carr. I think Spencer White's been asked to move away as he comes in to kick this.
Dylan Riley looking to extend the Blues lead to 8 points here. Just tried to steer it through, but he couldn't quite direct it. He's offline, 2-6-18, the Blues.
Different role this year, isn't it, too, Drewy, for Dylan Riley? We know him in the back part of his career, just a dangerous forward for Launceston. And almost been their key focal point for a number of years now, but he's playing a bit higher up on the wing this year.
This one off hands, just kept in cleverly though by Dom White. Now the ball back into the corridor, but taking another intercept is Tyrrell, and they've got plenty of bodies open in the middle of the ground. One of them was Liam Canny, who smashes it to the line, but it was just short, and getting back was Edmondson.
Yeah, he's got a powerful kick, Liam Canny. That was a great switch from Launceston. Open up the fat side.
Cleaver takes the mark. Looked inside, then opted to go wide in the White direction instead, and what was being held onto there by Madden.
And they're trying to play through White, I'd say, North Hobart, particularly when they're looking for that defensive kick out of the back 50.
And he sets it up in the Culloch direction.
Well, that's what North Hobart have to do. They can't be outmarked. Got to give their opportunities for their smalls to be involved in the game. It's one thing they'll be looking to address, I would have thought, at quarter time, just the roll and cue.
There is quarter time, so at the end of the first term here, it is the visitors holding sway by 4 points, but a bit of an arm wrestle. It's been a scrappy sort of game, a bit wind affected, but after a bright start where the Demons kicked 2 goals in the first 2 minutes, we added another 2 points from that point on. Launceston had some opportunities, probably didn't make the most of them, and they held sway by 4 at the first break.
Yeah, they're probably disappointed from their kicking for goal, 9 scoring shots to 5, but it has been a swirly breeze, and certainly being held up, you would have thought, to the right of screen. And North Hobart, you're right, Drew, they got off to the flyer, and it was Thomas Lefebvre who started really well and was involved in both goals, set up a nice inside 50 where young Josh Hilda was able to run in the open goal, and then a nice finish from him, and he was involved, as we said, in the first 2 goals, and then Launceston just steadied a really smart finish from Liam Jones, a nice finish in the back half of the quarter for Hyatt, and it's just 4 points. But I think both teams, on balance, I think North Hobart would be really pleased with their effort. Just probably need to transition the footy, both teams for that matter, some of their inside 50s. We didn't see a lot of marks taken inside 50s for either team, and just the ability of teams to transition the footy was often hurt by their own undoing with some skill error. So they'll look to address that, both teams at quarter time.
We'll take a short break here on the call. We'll be back in a few minutes' time with quarter number 2. After that first term here, it's Launceston holding sway by 4 points. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back for quarter number 2 here from North Hobart Oval. For the first term, it is the home side 2-3-15, trailing Launceston 2-7-19. Quarter time up in the north of the state, and it's North Launceston 13-10 over the Kingborough Tigers in our other big game today. Lordvale leading Glenorchy 46-9 as we go around the grounds, but that's start quarter number 2 here. What are you expecting from the second term, Cam Brown?
Yeah, look, I think it would be, in particular Launceston, they would be disappointed with the first 5 or 10 minutes in their start in the first quarter where they conceded a couple of goals. So you'd think they'd be looking to assert their influence, and obviously, like most games of footy, it starts in the middle of the ground. So there's a fair bit of experience in there. Gronowegan, we can see Polfram in there. So expect him to get his hands on the footy. And they'll probably look to try and assert some scoreboard pressure on a pretty competitive North Hobart in the first 30 minutes.
They have fought well early on. How will the second quarter go as Wright sends a sky ball towards half forward, and
there was a mark, but
he's paid the free kick and robbed him of a pretty good mark there, I reckon.
Yeah, he's paid it against Harper, who started really well.
Launceston bench not loving that decision, as that's a great looking kick, superb from Monks. Just put it in space where only Jackson could get to it. And look at them all run to Monks. His whole team have got to him there.
Yeah, we mentioned he's been a really good recruit for them. He's very competitive, very strong in the air. And shrewd recruiting to pick up Monks from Hobart via Lauderdale. And this guy always gives him a target up forward, doesn't he, Drewy?
He led out beautifully from the square there. Can he make the most of the opportunity, Nick Jackson? He can. It's a good kick, and it's a perfect start to the quarter. Another fast start here from the Demons. They struck 2 in the first 2 minutes of quarter number 1. And inside the opening minute, they draw first blood in quarter number 2 and reclaim the lead.
Well, it's ironic, really, because that's the first clean bit of play we've probably seen in terms of transition into the forward 50. And a lovely kick from Monks, who won a free kick in a one-on-one battle with JB Harper. And then he just lowered his eyes. Good presentation from Jackson. A nice finish. Perfect start again for North Hobart at the beginning of a quarter.
Perhaps that's why the kick really stood out for being so clean, because we haven't seen much of that this afternoon here so far. It was a beautiful kick, and Jackson did the rest. White in the ruck now against Gronowegan. His second slap went straight to right. He handed off to McGuinness. McGuinness goes looking for Leithaber. Couldn't quite complete the mark. He'll get a chance though. Couldn't take it clean. Gets a third opportunity. Snaps towards the goal square. Diving despairingly is Foley. Getting a kick away is Bingham. And putting it through. And once again they've got 2 in the opening 2 minutes. They're fast starters, these Demons. And they get their 4th and lead by 8.
Yeah, nice finish from Josh Bingham. I thought Lee Fiber might have used the left foot, but in the end, he manufactured something on the outside of his right foot. Again, they just got it forward, and a good finish from Josh Bingham. North Hobart with the last 2 centre clearances, Sam Wright involved. And very similar to the opening of the first quarter, Drew, when we said North Hobart kicked 2 inside the first 2 minutes, and exactly the same things happened here to start the second quarter.
It's amazing how much better the scoring looks are when you can win it clean out of the middle with that kind of speed. Stop the opposition getting the bodies back there. So 2 centre breaks, 2 goals here for the Demons. How will the Blues respond? With a clearance of their own through Gronowegan. Taking front position, there was Stephenson. And Sandra tries to run off half back, but his handball found its way to Polfram and poke slammed him to the turf. It's sent inside forward 50, bounces out the back of the contest, but the umpire spotted a jumper grab going the way of Campbell.
And a few kicks you'd like to have again in the first quarter, Campbell. Let's see how this one goes.
Sets this one up. We'll go towards the contest. White floated in from the side. Umpire spotted a push. It'll go the way of Barrow.
Yeah, really promising player, Barrow. Very neat, skillful, lovely size. Beautiful long left foot kick.
No one on the mark, so he takes full advantage and drives it up towards Jackson. Just off his hands, couldn't complete the mark. Tyrrell laying a tackle there. The umpire will call for it. Forward for the Demons. And picking up a little again here. White comes over the top. Jamison House slammed it on the boot, only so far as Barrow. Tumbles one towards Jackson, stretching, couldn't mark. Off hands to Tyrrell. Wheels onto his left and sends it high up towards the wing. In the end, a couple of Demons spoiling each other a little there, with Stephenson seeing it away from Sandra. Throwing on centre wing. Just as they started the first term, the Demons exploding out of the blocks. Can they go on with it in quarter number 2? Didn't kick another one in the first term after that bright start. Launceston worked their way back into it. Double palm from White straight down there to Ship. He's immediately claimed. And Barrow in on him.
Yeah, Jack Hines moved into the middle of the ground just to get himself involved, I think. Hasn't had a lot of opportunities in that first quarter.
He's been rather starved of service. Paul Freeman saw that one deflect off the knee of White. This floats out the back, and Cowley can take a mark under no pressure. He wants to head into the corridor. Didn't have an immediate option, so just
clever kick.
Held up and drew Jones. And he's not paid the mark there, Liam Jones. Just pitched in front of him in the end.
Yeah, young Cowley's one of those players that played a little bit of senior footy last year and always been a very strong underage footballer, but found it difficult to break into this team.
Just eludes Bingham. And there is Cowley. He's dumped to the ground there, going absolutely nowhere.
That's that new rule, really, wasn't it? Because I think on that occasion, Cleaver was really conscious of not a dumping tackle, which was going to thrust his opponent's head into the turf as House with the clearance.
Dumping it high in the Hines direction. Off hands out the back. Sandrick first to it. Skews his kick off the side of the boot. Williams was there, spoiling it away from him as height. Comes in and spoils.
Yeah, they'd be delighted to get Jamison House back into this team in the last couple of weeks, Drew. Such a big body, can lock down a key forward for the opposition.
And, spending a bit more time on the ball at times too, Jamison House, since his return. Pfeiffer comes over the top. Hyatt hits it at speed and snaps a beautiful goal. He started this game superbly, Isaac Hyatt. On a day where people haven't looked too clean, this guy has been spick clean. He has been superb, and he kicks a goal here.
Yeah, he becomes the first multiple goal scorer on the ground. He's had a terrific start. And he was just on the move in the stoppage, wasn't he? And he caught his opponent snapping. And because he was on the move, he was first to react. Read it off hands, and nice finish across his body.
So 4-3 to 3-7. Launceston respond to those opening couple of goals. Isaac Hyatt. Fantastic to start this one for the visitors as they close within 2 points once more. Back to the middle. One down by White. There's been something spotted off the ball here though. And the non-controlling umpire rather spotted one for Norton, so he'll take it, wheel onto his right, sends one into the forward pocket. Jackson was straining to get there, but taking front position, Foley slides in, and he takes it at half back. And then shut down the corridor option, so you'll have to head down the line. Groenewegen, a likely target there. And there's some tall timber in the form of McGuinness and White for the Demons.
Yeah, just with the number of players exiting Launceston at the end of last season, Sam Foley gets his opportunity. Played a fair bit of Dev League last year, had some really good games at TSL senior level, but wasn't able to break into the team at the important end of the season.
Groenewegen through heavy traffic, somehow gets his kick away. Williams first to it, his handball blocked off there by Riley, who then lays a tackle too. And we're going to let them transition back the other way, Dylan Riley.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Drew. They were away then, so really clever from Riley just to get a hand in, stop the handball and then lay the tackle.
White flicks it over the top. Handball to Norton. Norton across there to Hilda. 3-on-1 in favour of the Demons here, and Jackson swoops in, got it to Bingham. Bingham just holds up, waits for the lead, but didn't really put to McCulloch's advantage there. Gillow taking the mark. Not called to play on. He'll now try to sell a little candy. Bounces off McCulloch. Gets into troubles. The support came from Barwick. Got a kick away towards the wing. Norton through the contest. Little handball out there in front of Barwick. Couldn't find him. Blues win the ball back. Sandrick had 2 to beat. Did pretty well. Now the dangerous Dylan Riley. Tumbles a kick towards Canny. Roberts is in there. Handball to Williams. Bingham ducked under one, but was claimed by the second man. And he's pinged. Jamison House rewarded. He looks up. The leads present themselves. He sends a deep kick. And Stephenson able to slide across and take the intercept.
It was a deep kick.
Stephenson is defensive 50, but it's an ugly one off the left and it's straight out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, Sport is good work. It was a good one-on-one mark against quality opposition in Hines. Gus Norton started really well today, Drew. He's been really busy. He's had his opportunities this year in the midfield and found himself in and out of North Hobart's team over the last couple of years and sometimes played as a small defender, a small forward. He looks more at home when he's in the midfield.
He has been prominent to start this game as the Blues looking to retake the lead here. They'll chip one. There's a good mark taken there. It's Joby Harper. He's a booming kick, but he's around about 55 out. He just stands it up into the pocket, and doing really well is Jones. Takes the contested mark.
And it's going to be a tough shot from there. I reckon he'll still kick on his preferred right side. Hasn't seen him use his left foot a lot in terms of these situations and running around and snapping it. We mentioned before his goal kicking this year's been outstanding.
This will be a fair test. Tight to the boundary line is Jones. He looks to steer it through, but he just steers it across the face in the end. And it's a minor score only.
It's probably the toughest position on the ground to kick goals from in front of the scoreboard, traditionally at North Hobart.
Barrow chips it short to Campbell in the pocket. Campbell punches an outside defensive 50. White outnumbered but did well in the contest. Hilda flicked the handball up, coming through Tyrrell, but he punches straight back down to Hilda. Turned it around the corner. Liefheber doing nicely, just outpointing his opponent. It spilt out the back to Monks. Gave it back to Liefheber. Had to get his kick away quickly. And impacted the direction it pitches, and in the end, but he gathered back there by Atkins. Had time, maybe too much time, but he kicked it out of bounds on the full.
I reckon we've had half a dozen of those in this game where players, not under a lot of pressure, have kicked it out in the full to the opposition.
As Hilda goes looking for McCulloch.
That's a disappointing inside 50 kick from Hilda. It's nothing kick really. It needed to be in the top of the goal square. For the opposition, that's exactly where you want it to go.
Yeah, certainly not McCulloch's advantage. So good on the lead and extending the hands. You just want to put it in front of him really. So this one spills out the back. Hines beaten to it by Campbell. They both overran it in the end, and Canny got it. Canny goes looking for Gillow, getting in there was right. Did pretty well. Some support came from Sandrick. Gave it back to Finlay Poke. He slams it on the boot and clears the area. Groningen wants out of bounds on the full. The umpire says it pitched inside. So 1 point the difference midway through the second term here at North Hobart Oval. Round 8 TSL football between the Demons and the Blues. Umpire sends it back in. Pfeiffer up against Jackson. Tom White got a hand in and blocked off the handball. Paul Freeman now under pressure from Jackson. No one able to see it clear. The Demons feeling for holding the football, but won't get the call.
He's been quiet, Dom White. Normally someone who can rack up some big numbers on the wing. He's probably, in fairness, been played to the opposite side of the ground for him.
Handball over the top from Tilbury. And again, an ill-directed kick. Out of bounds on the full. Demons will take over at half-back for Roberts. Roberts charges off inside, looks to try and buy some meterage here, and taking a good mark is Monks. Backing back and reading the flight well. It's a wide open 50 in front of him. McCulloch in a one-on-one with Gillow. Won't quite go to him though.
Mark right.
Right at half forward was the target instead. And he did nicely. Now there's a few more bodies back inside the defensive 50. Right wheels around. He'll just stand it high up into the sky. Plenty of spoils came. Buffeted it off there was Monks. Slammed out of that. Cleverly flicked back inside by Hyatt. Made it work for Canny. He was claimed by Sandrick. Jones trying to crash through. Got it back outside to Hines. He stands it up. Hyatt couldn't quite complete the mark on that occasion. Campbell dubiously got rid of it. Sandrick swings it on the boot. Having to come from deep there was Cleaver. Did enough to impact the mark though and force the stoppage. Zach Barrow comes off for Tommy Lefebvre beneath us. Throw it up once more. Jackson got it on the downswing. And he was tackled immediately by Paul Freeman. Jackson. Block's been called there. It's going to go the way of Pfeiffer, who's down for the time being, or rather Deegan Madden, rather. He draws a man, then handballs off there to Joby Harper. Joby Harper just punches them towards half forward. Lefebvre first to the fall of it. Puts into space, but there are Blues out on this side of the ground everywhere. Might pick up enough speed. In the end, it'll be taken by Tyrrell. Tyrrell goes inside for Jamison House. Now, the set-up kick here. Can House find a target? Plenty of Demons flooding back in defence. Just opted to handball it off instead. They'll go deep. Plenty of bodies back inside 50. No one can take the mark, but Jones snaps and snaps offline.
He looks dangerous, doesn't he?
He does. He's reading the game well. Just gets into good positions frequently. So we're all tied up. 4-3 to 3-9. Demons clear the defensive 50-yard. Swings back around inside. Wynn got a hold of that one. Towed forward into dispute. White then tried to take his man on, and he's claimed by Joby Harper. The advantage paid on, and in the end, Lefebvre runs onto it cleverly, spikes it over the top to McCulloch. McCulloch running into an open goal and slots it through, and the Demons back out by 6. Well, Tommy Lefebvre has been heavily involved in most of their scores today, and he did well just to thump it to McCulloch.
Yeah, you don't like to be critical of the umpires, but for mine, that was holding the ball.
Yes.
It was a great attack on the footy from Spencer White, and I think he's been terrific today, just trying to be a marking target and different options for his team and bring it to ground. But it was a terrific tackle from Harper, and for mine was held up long enough for that to be rewarded in terms of consistency in the way that's been paid today, Drew. But
I'm with you.
The luck there on that occasion was McCulloch, and found himself in space, and importantly, he made them pay.
Yeah, we'll play the whistle, they say, and it never came. The Demons continued to flood forwards. I think a few of the Blues players were expecting a free kick that never came. They were caught out, so back to the middle.
Yeah, they were filthy as they were running back for the centre bounce. Certainly let the umpire know what they felt.
That one knocked into space. Cleaver copping one high there. Feeling that one. Quickly back to his feet, which is good to see. Sends them forward. Spoil Kane out into space. First to it, Canny. How to get rid of that one. Umpire says play on for Spill to White. White now sends them to the top of the goal square. Over the head of McCulloch. Jackson was in there. So too Norton. But McCulloch off hands. Gave it back to Spencer White. Spencer White gets his kick away and misses. A minor score only.
It was a smart kick from Dom White to put it up the top of the goal square. And the Demons, we thought coming into the ground today they'll be really competitive, and it's certainly been the case. For every chance to go in with a lead at half time.
So Hines at the opposite end of the ground to which we're used to seeing him. Wheels out of defence and blasts it to a contest. Norton, claimed by House, got his kick away in time. There is Hines following up. Norton again. If I spotted one over the shoulder, it would go the way of Gussie Norton. So Norton just shifts it sideways.
I don't mind that. It's just better than just conceding the footy to the opposition.
Stephenson sent them inside 50, but the relieving mark was taken by Foley. Just dropping back, taking the relieving mark. His side just under a little bit of pressure here in the last few minutes. The Demons getting a little run on. Foley chips it short, almost invited in Lefebvre. Paul Freeman was strong under the high ball. Got up immediately, gave it back to Foley. Breaks a line and then went looking for Jones, but again, just out of bounds on the full. Maybe we're underselling the wind a little bit because they just keep putting it out. Chip back inside to Roberts. Roberts looks up. Wiggles a few metres, then drives them inside 50. Hines parked behind the ball, got a fist in there. Spilled out to Leafheber again. He goes looking for McCulloch. McCulloch gathers. Can he get a handball away? He can, but it was to the opposition. House was in there. He got rid of it quickly. Barrow crashing in. The Blues try and clear through McCormick. Now across there is Joby Harper, and Harper was composed. Well, he was initially. His kick wasn't particularly well directed in the end, and out of bounds, but not on the full this time. There'll be a throw in. 7 points the Demons lead. It has to be said, doing the bulk of the attacking at the moment in this second term. Madden up against Jackson. Handball inside. Hines got his handball away. Through traffic, Paulfman gave it back to Hines. Hines thumps it deep. Bailey Gillow in a one-on-one. But Campbell did well. He had the size and had the reach. Just stretched out and put it across the line.
Yeah, Paulfman's a player that's been pretty well held so far for mine by North Hobart. But he is a player that can accumulate possessions and really damage the opposition with his run and carry. Once he can get a chance here, shallow boundary throw-in.
White forced to tackle instead of a ruck. There'll be a throw-up inside the forward 50 here for the Blues.
North Hobart need to lock on to young Hyatt. He was the player at this stage early on the quarter.
Edmondson just got a little bit on it. Stephenson turned straight into trouble and he's claimed. And he's pinged. Yeah, he did look like he was taking Dylan Riley on. That was ill-advised. Riley crunched him, and that's holding the football.
Dylan Riley gets a shot on what we said earlier is traditionally a difficult place to kick goals from. His angle is a little bit more generous than Liam Jones early on in the quarter.
See if he can cut it back to 1 point. Quite a bit of speed. Ran too close to the man on the mark in the end. Made a bit of a hash of it, and the Demons will bounce off half back. Looking here for a marking target. Is that Monks again?
Yeah, he's been impressive.
He really has, and that's a clever kick too to Norton. Just pulled it a little. Found his man in space in the middle of the ground, and he finds Barrow. Now, can he find a target inside 450 here, Barrow? He's just going to thump it deep. He's got McCulloch and Leafheber. There were plenty of Blues there. Spoil each other though. McGuinness gets in there. Monk's following up. Spills out to House. And Jamison House tried to clear the area. His kick was charged down though. Pitches. Paulfman knocked it away from Williams. Hines under pressure from Norton. Forced it forwards. One back though by the Demons. And they've sent it into the pocket. McCulloch was blocked off there though. It wasn't a great kick to his advantage. The Blues holding out under pressure, but again they turn it over coming out of half back. Hyatt laying a tackle. They'll force a stoppage. Both teams really trying to transition from this end of the ground have struggled today.
Yeah, totally agree.
Jackson and Groenewegen, neither can win that decisively. Groenewegen sent tumbling. Roberts gets a kick away. Paulfman sent to the deck. And umpire said illegally so. It'll be House awarded with a free kick.
It's generally been slow ball movement for both teams as there's a 50 here. It's allowed the opposition to get players back in the defensive 50, so it's made it difficult for key forwards today.
Playing on is Jamison House, and he'll drive them deep inside the forward 50, looking for Jones. Off hands, Bingham has to get rid of this. He's about to be charged down, but he had the speed to wheel away. His kick, though, is intercepted by Foley.
Yeah, this has happened so often, isn't it, in the first half? Whether it's Foley, House, we've seen take some intercept marks. So too Joby Harper for Launceston. They're well set up behind the footy.
Inside 50, coming in from the side, almost breaking. Ken was Hyatt. He's taken some fine marks today. Nearly added another one there. Instead, it'll be a ball up inside 50. Demons holding sway by 7 as the Blues turn now just to have a little spell on the attack. Tap down to Hines, roved it sharply, sent it towards the goal. They're claiming a touch. It's either a goal or touched off the boot. I think it's more in hope, though, from the Demons. And it's a goal. So the goal instincts of Jake Hines, sharp as ever. He snaps it through and cuts the margin to 1 point.
Oh, that was a brilliant goal, wasn't it? Really wasn't too many players on the ground that would be able to kick it from there. He just read it off the hands. He was on the move in the stoppage, but it was a terrific finish from 40 metres out. On a day where players have found skill execution a real challenge. Not so on that occasion for Hines, who's worked his way into the game, really. And we found him, as you mentioned, Drew, he's kicking out at one stage and spent a fair bit of time in the midfield this quarter. Great finish.
The appeals for a touch ball did seem rather optimistic, given the way that ball flew so nicely through the air. Back to the middle. Horsham couldn't take it, but charging through is Gillow. Got the handball away and driven forwards there by Cowley. And Hyatt again, sharked it cleanly, drives it through, and the Blues are in front. 2 goals in 30 seconds. And this man, Isaac Hyatt, I don't think there's been anyone on the ground more damaging than he. And he restores the visitors' advantage.
No, great call, wasn't it? And it was a perfect position for him because he's found himself with space on his favoured left side. And 2 in a couple of minutes to Launceston. It's his third, Isaac Hyatt. And I agree with you, the most damaging player on the ground.
He's just been so clean, picking the ball up at ground level. His kicking's been good. He's marked it nicely. Inside, back in front now.
They're not overly quick in the back half, North Hobart, so they just need to watch because players like Hyatt and Jones have got really good leg speed.
This one's punched forward. Following up his work there was White, gathers, and then just hands it up cleverly to McCulloch. Did well there on the non-preferred. He puts it to his forward's advantage and a chance for the immediate response.
Yeah, I think he's played really well today, White. They've asked a bit of him at different stages to present, particularly in the air, but he's been good at ground level. And that was a smart kick to McCulloch, who's, I think, second on the TSL goal kicking. Kick 16 for the season.
Usually a lovely kick of the football is Jack McCulloch, been a real star for his side this year. He saunters in, and the wind just gets a hold of it and tugs it wide of the mark.
Yeah, it always looked from, we had a beautiful vantage point from here, Drew. It always looked like it was going to veer left.
Indeed, it did so. 4 points the margin here. As Jody Harper got a little bit quieter in quarter number 2. Thumps this one out of there. Jones took it off the pack, roved it, sent it over the top, looking for, well, Riley couldn't find it. And thrown in. So 5-5 plays 5-9 deep into quarter number 2 here. And intriguing battle in both quarters. The Demons have done the damage in the opening couple of minutes. The Blues have worked back as the quarters have progressed. A stoppage here. One score game as it stands. Wolfram first to it, but Norton claims him. The ball up once more. Thrown up. Groenewegen won it back inside the house. Sandra tackled him. Smashed towards half forward, but that's a fine mark. Taken back there by Presnell. Reeled it in nicely. The Blues drive it towards the half forward line. Off the hands of Pfeiffer. Jones got tackled by Roberts. A saving tackle there from Jordan Roberts. As Jones looked to storm out the back. And just slow things down, and that's kick for the contest. Sends it long. McCulloch there for the D's. Off hands and out of play. Around the grounds, 32-18 in favour of the Northern Bombers in that huge game up at UTAS. 62-17 in favour of the Southern Bombers over Glenorchy. Now that TSL action. So big score up there at UTAS. The unbeaten Tigers struggling. As half-time arrives here at North Hobart Oval. And this is anyone's game as we reach the halfway point. 5-5-35 North Hobart. Launceston in the lead, 5-9-39, but they haven't had it all their own way. It's been a grind, it's been an arm wrestle, it's been scrappy. It's been pretty entertaining so far, Cam Brown.
Yeah, I agree with the summation. It has been scrappy, and look, probably been marred by some skill errors, but in fairness to the players, it looks like tricky conditions, and from the wind, which they've struggled at times to make connections in the forward half, both teams really. But the effort's been there from both players, particularly North Hobart. I think they'd be not taking anything away from Launceston, but they would be really delighted with how they've gone about it. They've been really competitive right from the first couple of minutes, particularly in the start of both quarters, when you consider they've kicked 5 for the game and 2 goals in each quarter in the first couple of minutes. And then Launceston have probably just worked their way back into the contest in both quarters. But, Launceston, they'll probably regroup here. They know their best footy is probably good enough, but they just haven't had it on their terms for long enough for mine. And in particular, I think the third quarter, the start for them will be really important. They've obviously got more experience on the ground than a number of their North Hobart players. I'm talking about the top echelon of the Launceston players. But, you'd think players like Polfram and Hines, House, Harper, if they can get a little bit more footy on their terms, that could be the way for a Launceston victory. But both teams, Drew, I think, have been set up defensively really well behind the ball today, which has made it hard for the forwards.
Yeah, it's certainly not been an easy day for the forwards. Isaac Hyatt looks like he's playing in different conditions to everybody else.
He does.
Outside of that, it has been hard work. 4 goals, just the 10 of them so far, but game very much in the balance, which is how we like them. We'll be back in around about a quarter of an hour's time with the second half for you. It's North Hobart 5-6-36. The scoreboard's just been updated. Trailing Launceston 5-9-39 at halftime at North Hobart Oval. We'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back for the second half here at North Hobart Oval. North Hobart 5-6-36 trailing Launceston 5-9-39. 3 points the margins return for the second half. It's been a bit of an arm wrestle so far. The Demons have kicked 4 of their 5 goals in the combined opening 4 minutes of the 2 quarters. We'll see if they get the fast start again, Cam Brown.
Aloni will want to get the clearance, won't they, to buck that trend?
They've been jumped both times, so can they get it out of the middle once more and get themselves off to the dream start for a third quarter in a row? From that point on in quarters, Launceston have done a pretty good job pegging them back as McGuinness in the middle tried to crash through and get a clearance. Gillow held him up though, and he follows up and tackles Gus Norton. So they threatened for a moment there to storm out with another early clearance. Back into play, Gronowagon and White tap back down in towards the bullseye. Spinning through to the right. Gillow handballed to Palfreyman. Palfreyman gave it across there to Cowley. He sends them towards half forward, off hands into the hands of Norton. He found McGuinness. McGuinness spears one wide looking for Barrow. Kept his feet crucially, Barrow. He's got some support, but they left the ball behind. Oh, big blow there. Hines allowed back in, and they'll get a stoppage, and that was an ill-timed fumble.
Well, he's a player that can really hurt you by foot too, Barrow. Normally makes good decisions, smooth mover. And he was away.
Right, and Gronowagon. McGuinness a little high there on Gillow. If I didn't spot it, McGuinness smashes them deep in the McCulloch direction. The spoil came and smashed through by Foley.
He's a strong defender, Foley. Certainly not afraid to back into packs. Good, strong, contested mark.
So no goal there, but a good start all the same from the Demons. Gronowagon made the stretch, couldn't take the mark, fell to Bingham. Bingham set sail for home. They've done it again, the Demons. Took them 90 seconds this time. They're getting a little sloppy with it, but again, they score an early goal. They are starting fast in quarters, and they reclaim the lead.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bonus there, because I thought he presented really well from the kick-out, Gronowagon, but unfortunately, as he dived and hit the turf, the ball spilled out, and it was a smart finish. Not too often Josh Bingham kicks multiple goals in a game. Traditionally a hard-working midfielder in and under, so that's a bonus for North Hobart. Once again, they sent the trend of kicking the first to start the quarter.
So we've seen them follow the opening goal up with an immediate second in quarters number 1 and 2. Well, they do it again. McGuinness with hands to it. Gronowagon tackled him. It fell to right. Right sends them forward, but reading the play there was Jody Harper. He chops that off. Gave it to Foley. Sweeping through. Foley's kick ill-directed into the grandstand.
Dare I say it? I've seen a few of those, Drew. He's Don White with the football.
He goes in board looking for Leafheather. Takes the mark unopposed. Lively, creative type is Leafheather. He sends this one wide. White was presenting short. That's ignored. We'll just square it up. Park back there, Riley over his head. Fell to Bingham again. He handballs it over the top. Running into an open goal is Jackson. He drives it through, and once again the Demons get the first 2 goals in a quarter. Uncanny this, all 3 quarters, and they've extended their lead.
Yeah, it was really smart handball again from Bingham. He could have quite easily blazed away, but he was able to pop the handball into space to the bigger man. Jackson kicks his second, and you called it, Drew. We were talking about what's been the trend for this game at half-time. Once again, North Hobart. 6 of their 7 goals have been in the opening 2 or 3 minutes of each quarter. And it gives them a nice 10-point buffer.
Can they kick on this time? This is where the Blues have generally notched into gear and ground their way back on top in the first 2 terms. Will that pattern resume? They'll get a clearance here through Jamison House. He slams it on the boot. Poke took front position, but it floated over his head. Hyatt and Edmondson at the back here. Edmondson arches his back and clears defensive 50. Leafheather gets there, and then Riley comes from behind and tackles him and holds up his progress.
I agree with your call before, Drew Leafheather. He plays a really important role for him, doesn't he? He just competes really hard and strong in the air, good at ground level.
Gronowagon flicked it over the top. Norton got rid of Palfreyman. smashed up towards Monks. He tried to spoil Harper, but Harper took the mark. He's been one of his side's better players today, Joey Harper, and he sends this one a lot wide. Couldn't quite find Cowley. And then lays a tackle.
It was a good play from Dom White to back into that contest, because Cowley was out the back on his favoured left foot if that had carried.
Thrown back up, Groenewegen and White. White went early. Groenewegen tapped it forward. Gillow through the contest. Spins it inside forward 50. Hands and knees is Pfeiffer. Sandrick gets a hold of him. Umpire throws it up. Groenewegen and White once more. Hines sharked it and he snapped it, and it's in the Jones direction. Had two to contend with. In the end, the boundary line beats them all.
Well, this has been the buffer, hasn't it, for the game? North Hobart have jumped out at the start of each quarter and got to that 10-12 point margin, and Launceston have been able to claw their way back. So in the context of this game, next goal could be really important.
We see that pattern re-established here. They're on the offensive at the moment, are the Blues, as Edmondson tries to clear the area. Didn't get much distance on the kick, turning with it, pull through and snapping. It's floating, and it's floating through. And they do respond, the Blues. Brody Palfreyman gets their 6th of the afternoon, and they cut the margin to 4, and it is on.
Yeah, Jake Hines involved. So too Joby Harper.
Cowley just sent Hilda to the deck as the umpires try and break them up.
And all that can happen here from a North Hobart perspective is you just give away another free kick. It's still going on in the centre of the ground. Spencer White involved, Joby Harper as well, but gee, that was a terrific finish. Had the binoculars on Palfreyman, and virtually that was just great goal awareness of where he was in particular relation to the ground, because he didn't even... Now there's been a free kick here. Looks like there's even a report. Yeah, there is. It's Liam Canny who's been reported for mine, Drewy, in the notebook, which means it'll be a free kick, is it, to North Hobart in the centre of the ground.
It looks like White will get it, and something seemed likely to happen. There were spot fires everywhere. Canny continued on. The umpire has got him for something, so White will drive the Demons inside forward 50. It'll just pitch a little short. Barrow was in there, trying to pick it up Barwick.
Bit of spice, Drew, in this one.
Plenty of feeling out there, isn't there?
They've kicked a couple of terrific goals, Launceston, really. Hines and Palfreyman, goals out of nothing, really.
As Canny finds himself dragged. McCulloch in the ruck. Palfreyman can get his kick away. Gillow comes through over the top. Bingham's got a hold of him. I think Liam Canny's just been sent to the bench just to cool down for a minute. As the ball will be thrown up here. The Demons holding sway by 4 points. McCulloch doing the ruck work. Again, no one able to escape the area. Everyone pushing up the ground. Everyone in one half of the ground at the moment, really condensing things. McCulloch strong at the stoppage. He was blocked off though by Riley. Just getting the kick away was Cowley. Foley working hard. Dom White in there for the Demons. A free kick's been plucked. It'll go the way of the D's.
Yeah, it was just undisciplined there for Foley. No need to do it. And just put his hands high on Josh Hilda. Might have even got him in the eye the way Hilda's reacting to the contact. Now, it's going to be tough. I think in these situations you're better off just putting it about 10 metres out in front of the goal square. Give your forwards a chance. No, that's just...
Killed the banana.
Such a low percentage play.
He didn't get the journey with it either. Yeah, might have been better off just pulling it. I thought Stephenson had got himself into quite a nice position in the middle of the 50-yard. Tried to take the shot on, didn't work. Behind only. Hines the target of this kick. Might let Leafheber in though. Almost took the mark. Sprawling on the deck. Couldn't quite complete it. Hines climbs on top of him. And we'll have another stoppage inside 450. 5 points the lead for the home side. Laying off a big upset here. McCulloch slapped away from him, and the pitch is ahead of McGuinness out of play.
And North Hobart have got an extra one behind the footy in Edmondson.
Chalik and Groenewegen. Bingham couldn't take it cleanly. Spills out behind the stoppage, getting a hand in Tilbury. And then running it across the line, Jonty Barwick. An arm wrestle inside forward 50 here for the D's.
This is where Launceston got to think their way through, because they've got 2 extra players up at this stoppage and around the footy. So if they are going to clear it, they're probably going to have to run it by hand, or they're going to kick it straight back to North Hobart.
What they're set up for, indeed, the Demons. Groenewegen's kick was spoiled, though. Bingham doing some good grunt work. Soccering off the ground there was Tilbury. To the teeth of goal, it bounces over a couple of heads. Ball still in dispute. Jackson laying a tackle, but it was a little reckless in the end. Some high contact and a relieving freight. Slightly worse for wear is Samuel Foley, deep in defence. O'Neill working hard for him, but he'll go out the other flank instead and bites off some yardage and thumps it up towards the contest. Helped along out the back. Here's Isaac Hyatt, and he's got a man in Jones all on his own over the top. Found him, tries to burst away from Campbell, who just got enough of the jumper. Coming through there was Cowley. And the Demons might have got out of trouble. Jones scoops a handball and he follows up and gives another effort. And he's got a couple of players on top of him. Ball's still out. Gillow follows up again. Gets a kick inside forward 50. Pitches in front of Paul Freeman. Weaving one way, then the other. Then snapping towards Hines in a one-on-one. Spoil came from Stephenson. Edmondson in support. They want the safety of the line and they get it.
Been very good, Stephenson, in those one-on-one contests, isn't he, with Hines? We're often accustomed to Hines just outworking his opponent underneath the footy. He's clearly strong in that upper body. Good tackle. I can't remember who you said it was, Drewy, because Liam Jones was away. It might have been Matthew Campbell.
He just got enough of him, didn't he? And held him up and probably saved a certain goal. They had the spare on over the top. Here's Jody Harper with some room to move it. Chip back inside. Jamison House just outside the arc of 50s. A thumping kick, Jamison House. Does he think he has the journey here? He tells the umpire he wants to take the shot, but he might just be buying time. We'll see if he wheels onto his right here and has a go.
I think you're right, Drew. He went back straight away and had some confidence in his kicking leg here. We go against the trend from what we've seen today.
So he does. He drives inside and he gets a good piece of it, but he doesn't have the accuracy. It's into the pocket and it's thumped out of play emphatically by Campbell.
He's done some terrific defensive acts today, Campbell. As we've mentioned, they haven't got a lot of leg speed necessarily in the back half, North Hobart, but they do compete really well.
Back into play it comes. White won it down. McGuinness through the contest. No one could take it cleanly. Spills out the back. O'Neill almost getting in the back. Handball spills out. Snapshot. Knocked off. Fell to Stephenson, and then Edmondson walks it across the line.
He did the right thing there, Edmondson. What he could have done is, on today's trend, probably hacked it out of bounds on the full. So played the percentage, just ran it across because he was under pressure. This is where North Hobart have to be careful on the stoppage. The likes of Polfram and Jones hired on the move.
Flying from behind was Pfeiffer. Yeah, trying to get out of there, but Leafever came in. Hyatt looking dangerously. I've seen him do some good work. Roving. Pfeiffer comes through. Was just towed away by Stephenson into the pocket. Riley first to it. Now it falls away of Roberts, who wheels away from the contest and clears defensive 50. The Blues are well set up behind the ball, though. Monks had 3 to beat. Forward hard and then follows up. Tackled Harper well. Now the pressure comes from White. They keep it moving, though. Campbell Atkins thought his way through it and just shifted it sideways to Tyrrell. Tyrrell has a loose man over the top. Now, plenty of bodies inside the forward 50 here, so he's just going to set it up high and let the big men get to work. Sandrick took front position. It was spoiled away from him. Just running over the top of it was McCormick. Blues regained possession, though. They sent it inside 50 via Foley. Campbell's got his name written all over this one. He dropped the chest mark. Should have taken that, Campbell. Now to play for a throw in.
Jake Hines almost predictably, going across and letting him know all about it.
No shock there. It's Pfeiffer and White. Pair can ruck once more. Pfeiffer going for the leap from behind again. The elevator door slammed shut. And umpire will call for it once again.
We know Launceston haven't got their best team in today with a number of players we mentioned that are out. But gee, on the context of where they might have thought, or where pundits might have thought North Hobart would be at the beginning of the season, Drew, I think they'd be delighted with how competitive they've been. And their free kick.
Advantage paid. Advantage taken. And a behind kick, so they won't get the shot on goal. And that will frustrate the coaching staff. Within the regulation shot. Roberts, terrible kick to him. Invited the pressure from Ship from behind. Now Paul Freeman Poke there defending. Edmondson and Stephenson. And they've won a free kick. Finlay Poke to the rescue. Roberts was just caught on his heels. Poke clears defensive 50. Harper well positioned. Just got taken out of the contest a little. White did well, flicked it back inside. Lee Feber sweeps the handball to Spencer White. He just pauses because he didn't have much to kick to. He's found a teammate in the end. They've managed this pretty well, the Demons. Keep a hold of the football, get it back to Roberts. He now sends them inside 450. Jackson's caught behind. It pitches into the hands of Riley. He draws them out, and there's kicked straight out of bounds on the full by Josh Gillow. Well, that one wasn't the win. That was just straight off the side of the boot.
Well, you're right, Drew. That's a win for North Hobart because Launceston almost outnumbered North Hobart 4-1 then in that inside 50. So they get a chance to reset.
McGuinness wants it short, but Roberts will drive them further inside 50. Over the head of Groenewegen, spoiled into the pocket. Tilbury there for the Demons. Numbers favour the Blues, but again, out of bounds on the full. Well, that was touched, which will save him. Touched off the boot. McCulloch and Groenewegen will be the nominated rucks inside 50. Demons by 4. McCulloch won it down. Tilbury attacked. Tackle comes. McCulloch on the bottom of the pack. A lot of stoppages here this afternoon. Jamison House spending some time on the ball for the Blues as Groenewegen wins it down. Snapped away there by Bingham. Bit of an awkward one. It was almost to the favour though of McCormack, and he took the mark. McCormack doesn't have an obvious out here, so just kicks it to a contest instead and slapped back across the line for a throw in. Back into play once more. Down. Bingham and Norton apply the pressure, and Bingham somehow comes away with the football. Sets it up inside the forward 50, off hands, which prevented the mark. And just a little touch on it, so it'll be another stoppage.
Did well there to extricate that, Josh Bingham, from the stoppage.
Oh, hitting this one with speed, and on the run there is Sam Wright, but he couldn't quite direct it.
Yeah, he normally kicked those, Sam Wright. He's always been a goal kicker in his junior football career. And he found himself in some space there. An opportunity across the body.
As good a chance as they've really had since the early moments in this quarter. That's going to hold up in the wind, almost lean Lee Fibre. Here's Spencer White charging through, dropped the football, had to go back, gave the handball to Sandrick. Sandrick turns, won't have the distance. McCulloch from behind. It bounces through, but a push has been spotted. It'll go the way of Gillow. And they've had a good little period here in the last 5 minutes, the Demons, but no goal to show for it.
Yeah, he beat me to the punch there. They've been surging forward the last 3 or 4 inside 50s. Just haven't been able to capitalise on the scoreboard.
Well, the wind really impacting things at the moment. That kick just hand up. Fell short of Tyrrell, but will get the free kick. And that might allow them to clear defensive 50. Move, but not off his line. Now he's off Tyrrell. He wants to go through the corridor, but he's invited danger there. Coughed it up to Bingham. Bingham slaps it on the boot, looking for the colour. It'll spill out behind to Hilda. Certain goal coming up. Hilda runs into the open goal, slots it through, and the Demons are out by 11.
Yeah, he read it well, Josh Hilda, on that occasion, and it was a turnover from Tyrrell, a player pretty experienced, vice captain of this team, but unfortunately the errant kick by foot, and then Hilda reacted really quickly. He's always had good leg speed and is able to push forward and kick a goal, not dissimilar to the one he kicked in to start this game in the first quarter. And he gets it out to that buffer again, 11-point lead for North Hobart. In the end, they did get reward for effort for their repeat inside 50s. I like the game of Josh Bingham today. I think he's been really competitive and a lot more composed than I've seen him with his ball use.
He's doing some damage on that half-forward line. Getting up involved at stoppages too. Here's Gillow. Skews it off with the left, looking for Hines. Sandrick was in there for the Demons and spilt out to McGuinness. The back of the contest. Didn't have quite that long to get rid of it. Shinned it in the end. Gathered by Hines. Hand it back to Paul Freeman. Paul Freeman got into some trouble. Ball now back into dispute in the middle of the ground. Bingham got there first. Handball over the top to Barrow. Barrow back to Norton. And he spreads it wide where he had Hilda in a little bit of space. Hilda turns back onto his right, steadies, then goes looking there for White deep inside 50. Just got the handball away in time. Gillow with a tackle, and that will hold them up. The Demons on top at the moment and leading by 11 points. They get another one in this little period in the ascendancy. Really create a buffer. Flicked out through the legs of Barrow. Pinballs around. Jones flicked it back into dispute. Canny charging through. Just got his kick away in time. Hines draped all over him with Stephenson.
That's just smart in the end from Hines. A bit frustrated the way it's gone about for his team today. Going to try and open it up here to the fat side. He's got Riley.
Well, Riley spoiled by his own man Harper in the end. I thought it was a pretty nicely set up kick for him, but the two make a bit of a mess of it, and McGuinness can take them out the other side, but pitched his kick just in front of Barwick, who couldn't keep it in play.
Disappointed with that, McGuinness, because North Hobart were out on the outer side. Hilda again was running into space.
Things just going the Demons' way at the moment.
Yeah, definitely an important period in the dying stages of the third quarter here.
We're into red time in quarter number 3. 8-9 plays, 6-10. Back into play, Groenewegen and Jackson. Jackson takes it and clears the area. His kick almost picked off by Atkins. Couldn't quite complete the mark though. Barwick was in there for the Demons. Wright helped it forward, sock it off the ground. That won't be 15. The Demons continue to attack, but the Blues clear the area. High ball to the middle of the ground. The spoil came once more from Stephenson. Jackson swept the handball to Sandrick. Gave it back to Wright. Wright goes in the direction of Spencer White as he clunked that one. Not quite, had 2 to beat, did all right, but then Leafever came in. Ducking under the tackle was Gillow, and his kick has gone straight to Nick Jackson. So he can send them inside 50 once more. 70 from home. Jackson drives it into the heart of the forward 50. McCulloch the target. Oh, he got interfered with. I thought McCulloch play on the call.
I think Launceston might need a little bit of a different look in the midfield. I'm wondering, Liam Jones, if it's time for him to spend a little bit more time in the midfield. We've seen him play as one of the deep small forwards for the majority of this game, but he's someone that can break it up with his leg speed.
Groenewegen slaps it away. Tyrrell first to it, but he's under a little bit of pressure from Hilda. Gus Norton coming through, couldn't take it cleanly. Tyrrell burrowing in. Paul Freeman. There is Jones. Swinging through Hines, but he's claimed by Sandrick in a fierce tackle. They've brought the intensity and heat with their tackling all day, the Demons, and have not let up.
No, you're exactly right from the word go.
Barrow is sent to the ground. Tumbling kick and a juggling mark is taken. Can you find a target? There's no one forward of the ball for them. They're all back in defence, so just having to hold up was Jones. Drew a man and then gave a handball off, and under some pressure was Dylan Riley. Just got rid of it back to Jones. Jones to Canny. They maintain their composure. Canny now. 80 metres out. Crowded forward 50, so he just sends it wide. And then driven inside the forward 50 and driven straight out of bounds on the floor. It's been the story of the day.
Well, that was under no pressure. whatsoever, and he's turned it over.
And Campbell will take it in the back pocket. His side holding sway by 11 points.
Yeah, a big couple of minutes. I mean, if North Hobart could get one before three-quarter time. Now, there's a free kick off the football here, is there? Yeah, not sure what's happened. The umpire, it looks like he's talking to Spencer White, left of screen. And
that's a killer.
Maybe because of that, Launceston get a free kick. It's going to be Hines hard up against the boundary. One of those players that we were talking about at the beginning of the game, Drew, that's in the state squad, keen to impress.
He's had a difficult day today, has Hines, but he could kick an important goal here. He's hung it near side and he's missed, and Matt Campbell now lets him know all about it after earlier in the match. Hines gave him the same.
And North Hobart have been a little bit jittery in some of their kick-outs. So we'll see here with McGuinness, lots of experience.
Sends it high. Going looking here for Edmondson. Norton first to the fall. And out of play.
Yeah, good on him though. That's well deserved. We've mentioned him a few times in the commentary today, young Gus Norton. And unfortunately, he's been paid the other way. So I thought he might have won the free kick. Perhaps there was some remonstration. Now Foley is a big kick of the footy, so he'll back himself to put this at the top of the goal square.
Squares it up. Riley the target, but there.
It's too shallow, wasn't it, really, in the end, the entry. Now, they're out here, North Hobart.
That might open them up the other way too, as they exit defensive 50, but then their progress is halted. So the body's clear out and they'll kick long down the line. Spoil came from Hines. Efeber in there. Pinballs around a little. Tackle laid by Presnell. Ball up, so we've gone 26.5 here in quarter number 3. Haven't been too many goals, so imagine we're nearing the three-quarter time siren. That one bounces out ahead of Lefebvre. Three goals to one here in the third term for the home side. They lead by 10 points. Lose, try and clear it here. Polfreman sent it towards Hyatt, but it bounced into the arms of White. Bingham did well, just keep a hold of the football and knew the contact was coming. Gets a stoppage. He has been impressive today, Josh Bingham. Jackson in the ruck. McGuinness laying a tackle. Deep into red time in quarter number 3 is there. Another goal in it for either side. McGuinness will send the Demons inside forward 50. Finlay poked with some strength. Couldn't quite gather the football, but he worked it onto Barwick. Barwick sent to the ground.
They're going to get another chance in the dying stages of this quarter. McGuinness has worked his way into the game nicely too. Just that bigger body in the midfield for North Hobart.
One down by McCulloch and snapping at his right. He's almost found a target at the top of the goal square, but smashed away by Cowley. And that was just caught behind. So across comes Jody Harper. 11-point lead for the Demons. Jody Harper goes for distance. Just holds up in the Pariza tag. Groenewegen went down, picked it up, slammed it on the boot and sent it in the direction of Hyatt. He's got the speed. He's absolutely blitzed him here, Hyatt. He surges inside 50. Can he finish his good work? He tried to square it up. Hines was there. He gathers it. Campbell gathers him.
That's terrific defensive pressure from North Hobart, because Launceston had some players, if they could have got it out at ground level there.
Maybe a little too unselfish from Hyatt in the end. Could have kicked goal of the year. Did the team thing. There's still a chance here as they set up at the stoppage. Hines in there, as is Jackson.
I would hate to concede one. from the stoppage here, North Hobart. No, they won't.
That siren had to be imminent. Indeed it was. There it is. And it's the Demons who kicked 3-1 in quarter number 3. As we turn to head to the final quarter, at three-quarter time, it's the home side, 8-10-58, leading Launceston 6-11-47. Once again, they kicked 2 goals in the opening couple of minutes of the quarter. The difference was this time, they didn't allow Launceston to work their way back on top.
No, look, I'm really enjoying the contest. I mean, it hasn't necessarily been absolute pure skill throughout the game because of the conditions and perhaps the pressure that the both teams have put on the opposition when they haven't had the footy. We've seen lots of free kicks for holding the ball and the defensive pressure that's been rewarded. Both teams have tended to play a +1 behind the football, which has made it difficult with some of the inside 50 entries. But North Hobart, pleasing for them is they've been able to hold on to that kind of, what is it now, 11-point streak. It's just hovered around that for a fair bit of this quarter. Whereas in the previous 2 quarters, Launceston will be able to kick late goals and almost make it an even ball game coming into the quarter time and half time. So North Hobart, they'd be delighted where it's at, and Launceston are going to need to respond. They're going to need to draw on some experience, try and get their hands in some of their more experienced players. We know a number of their players are out today, and North Hobart get a real opportunity to cause a major upset here.
They certainly do. Can they finish the job? They lead by 11 points at the final change. We'll be back in a few minutes' time for the conclusion to this thriller here at North Hobart Oval. Three-quarter time, it's the Demons 8-10-58, leading Launceston 6-11-47. Don't go anywhere. Grandstand finish coming up on the TSL live stream. We're just about ready to go here in the final term at North Hobart Oval. An upset potentially brewing. It's the Demons 8-10-58, leading Launceston 6-11-47. And it's a pretty determined and focused group in their huddle there, the Demons. They stayed huddled up for a lot longer than Launceston. Now sensing they're on the verge of doing something special, but the job is not done yet, Cam.
No, for Lonnie, they've just got to try and grind out a win, don't they? Looks like they've got Hyatt as a deep, small forward, and he's been really lively today with his 3 goals. They've put Groningen deep. So a bit of a look, different change. House going into the ruck. Harper's still there, Palfreyman. So they've got some real experience in the midfield. Hines also in there.
Geez, all the stars around the ball now. Harper, Hines, Palfreyman. House in the ruck. It's a new look, and it's an over-the-shoulder free kick. So the Demons will again get an early forward entry. They've kicked 6 goals in the opening couple of minutes of each of the first 3 quarters. Can they strike early again? McCulloch couldn't quite bring the mark down. Tyrrell cleared it, but straight to Norton. Burrowed his head and charged in there. Charged into trouble. The umpire will ball it up. So can the Demons repeat their trick of the first 3 quarters? If they kick the first 2 here in this final term, it would be a very handy break. McCulloch rucks it down, right charging through. Bingham on top of it. He couldn't crash through Hines, preventing that. But certainly a sense of urgency about Launceston with the big names on the ball here. It's the Demons through McCulloch, rucked it down to Hines. He sends it out there. Groningen off his chest. Handball was a little bit loose. Now Leifhaber got it to Jackson, and the ill-directed kick, but it might work out all right as it just pitches in the pocket. Now to play. And another forward stoppage. Thrown back into play. Demons loose behind the ball here on this stoppage. McCulloch won it down. Riley will clear the area for Launceston. Sends it up towards the wing. McGuinness spoiled. Sandrick flicked it back to Campbell. His kick charged now by Riley.
And North Hobart might be a man down too. I think Cleaver looked like he was done for the day at 3/4 time.
Will that extra run off the bench potentially prove pivotal here? They played much of last week's game with just 2 on the bench for the Demons. Jackson tried to slap it forward, but Harper got the better of him in the ruck.
It was probably a good move from Mick Thorpe to get a different mix at the centre bounce, because potentially that could be the story of the game. North Hobart's fast start of each and every quarter. If they can quell that, then they might give themselves a chance of surging in this last quarter.
Norton tackles Palfreyman to the ground. Well, they've at least survived the first 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is something they haven't been able to do. Side of those periods, it's just about scored them, although the Demons definitely had the better of the 3rd quarter. Norton unable to get away here.
Josh Bingham cut one high, and he's got some blood. He'll have to come off, I reckon. The side of his head.
Staying out there for the time being is Jackson and Harper lock up. Trying to come through Stephenson in the end. Harper blasted out of there. Hyatt just overrunning it, but he'll get a second look here. He's been dynamite today, Hyatt. He sends it deep. It's working back, but not quite enough. Offline for a behind. He cuts the margin to 10.
Yeah, the day he's had, he's looked the most likely goal kicker on the ground. And you expect him to have a couple of opportunities in this last quarter. Mick Thorpe recognising that by pushing him real deep to start this quarter.
This one's sent to another contest. Spoiled away there. Stephenson. Climb in on top. It's in the first goal. Absolutely pivotal here.
Well, we haven't had the game margin that hasn't got beyond 12 or 13 points. So if North Hobart could get the first in this last quarter, it might give them a lot of confidence. They might be hard to stop.
It's just volleyed out of the ruck. Campbell was first to it. Tumbled one around the boundary line. Clearing the area, Roberts, not convincingly though. desperate spoil. It was great from Bingham to prevent Harper going inside 50. Demons take back a hold of the football here through Hilda at half-back. Stands one up to the wing. That, though, wasn't so good, allowing Cowley, who's just shown it to the opposition. And I must have called, he came out in the tackle. A little fortunate, perhaps. Leaf Heber, he just toes it forward, tries to buy some yardage here. And a good firm tackle from Tyrrell. We'll see the ball held up at half-forwards.
You mentioned the smother from Bingham. That has epitomised the way North Hobart's gone about it today, because Joby Harper was out there, and all of a sudden they get a 50-50. And they win the stoppage and push it forward now, North Hobart.
Yeah, rather than being deep in defence, Jackson wins this, and he sends them inside 50. Good spoil from Tyrrell. Hines first to the fall of it. On hands and knees, he handballs it out, and then Riley sends it into the middle of the ground. Roberts couldn't quite mark. Ball now back in dispute. They'll send it inside forward 50. There's the dangerous high, and he's got a man on over the top. He sends it in Jones' direction. He takes it clean and cuts the margin to 4 points. First blood to the Blues in the final term.
And Liam Jones did the rest. He's always looked lively today. And kicks his second for the game.
So 4-point ball game, and again, the margin can't blow out beyond 2 goals. It's been that way throughout much of the afternoon. 17-point lead to the Northern Bombers in other TSL action in the final quarter up there at UTAS. Right here, it's a 1-score game. Jamison House just got his handball away. Sandrick first there. Canny crashes in over the top of him.
There's a bit of a worry for mine, that matchup, Liam Jones and Pope, because Pope's not overly quick, and Liam Jones has got some really good leg speed.
Thrown up once again. Harper continuing to ruck. Hines comes through the contest. He skews a kick wide, and it's a foot race here. Canny will win it. He gets there. He can't gather, though. Norton applies the pressure. Sees him out of play. So Launceston turning the screws here, trailing by 4 points. They've got their key movers on the ball. Experienced heads around there as they try and get the job done in the final term against a Demons outfit who fought ferociously all day. Palfreyman will gather this one. He spun a 360, then just got it away in time to Jones. Jones snaps it above his head to the top of the goal square. The spoils came. Ball hits the deck. Rove sharply, and Bailey Gillow puts the Blues ahead. Instinctual. He snaps it over the top, and they've got the first 2 of the final term.
They've been good on the snap today, Launceston, haven't they? But that was a terrific front and centre from Bailey Gillow. He's had a really good start to the TSL season this year. And all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, Launceston, the first 2 goals to start this last quarter, put them back in front. I was just about to say before that inside 50 entry, you just sense that Launceston have galvanised themselves for this moment and have gone up a couple of levels. Now it's up to North Hobart to respond. It's been the leaders, hasn't it, for Launceston in the first 7 or 8 minutes of this last quarter.
Yeah, those names from so much of their premiership success all around the ball and all getting involved. How will the Demons respond? They've put in a fine effort today. And they won't get a free kick at half forwards here. Some confusion. Eventually they're going to get the ball back at the ruck contest.
I'm not too sure what for, but we've seen a bit of that today, haven't we?
Indeed we have, as Stephenson sends it wide. As a man in Jackson in space, and he'll drive them deep inside 50. Mumps was there, couldn't quite complete the mark. Dominic White gets there, but the boundary line will beat him to it.
It's pretty dark here in the last stages of this quarter, Drew.
It is. The unofficial light certainly taking over, but not making an enormous difference at the moment. Demons need a response here. They've got a stoppage inside forward 50. Harper continuing to ruck. Handball spills out. Pressure came from Gillow. Demons want a free kick for insufficient intent. None forthcoming. And the Demons respond. They've been trading blows all afternoon, these 2 sides. McCulloch up against Harper. Shrugging him out off was Hines. The umpire's plucked a free kick. It'll go the way of Hines. Deep in defence. Moved onto the ball here. And he sends this to a contest on centre wing. off hands. The Demons will pump it right back inside 50, but deflected into the hands there of Harper. Harper got it moving quickly, turned it over though to Gussie Norton, who turned it straight over to Groenewegen. Well, maybe it is getting darker out there, Cam, because he's put it right down his throat. Not sure who that was going to beyond the big ruckman. He's kind of hard to miss. He'll send them to half forward here. The spoil came from Edmondson, and then it fell off hands to Tilbury. He drives them to half forward, backing back and almost taking the mark.
Yeah, free kick.
Got a free kick, did Monks. And he got it moving quickly. Dished it off to White. White drives it to McCulloch.
Yeah, free
And
kick.
he paid it. And I thought the umpire would. Mark, chop of the arms, call it what you like. Either way, McCulloch will go back from 30 out to try and put his side back ahead.
There's a good inside 50 from Dom White. Just lowered his eyes, gave his forward a chance. In the sense he would have taken the mark, hadn't it been a free kick.
So a big moment in the game here. Jack McCulloch, the star man in this forward line for the Demons. Can he respond and put the home side back ahead? He approaches goal. He sends it on its way and he sends it through the middle. And they do recapture the lead, the Demons. It's game on in the final term at North Hobart. And they move back ahead. It's the response they needed. And once again, blow for blow at North Hobart Oval.
Yeah, it certainly is. We had quite a few lead changes in this game. An important goal for North Hobart. Launceston, for mine, I don't think we kicked 3 consecutive goals for the game, so there was always a chance, potentially, that they'd flex their muscles and maybe just have too much experience, but such is the spirit of the North Hobart team today, they can really sense an opportunity. And it was a good finish from Jackson. He missed one in the second quarter that he normally probably would have got.
So Jackson up against Harper in the middle once more. House in there. Harper picks it up. Got his kick away. Not much purchase on it. Sandrick gathers. Flicked it over the top to White, starting to get involved. He sends them deep inside 50 once more. Barrow from behind. Off hands to McCulloch. Hines, handball, under pressure. Barrow applying it. Leafhaber lurking. Barrow dumped it out. It's surely got to be a free kick. And the umpire spots it.
Yeah, you called it, Drew. Well spotted.
Atkins, I don't think he realised the ball had spilled out.
No.
Continued his tackle. And Zach Barrow now with a chance for 2 in a minute.
Yeah, well, he's always been a beautiful kick of the footy. I want to put the moz on him, but you'd expect him to go back and kick this. It was a good reward for effort because he presented really well in the marking contest just to bring it to ground. And then came in, second effort, and has got rewarded here.
To restore the Demons' 10-point buffer. He's had a few bigger kicks than this at this level, Zach Barrow. He'll kick from 35 out directly in front, and he drives it straight on through. And the Demons once again respond, and they lead this one by 10 points as we approach the halfway mark of the final quarter.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to earn it, aren't they, Launceston? Not going to give it away, North Hobart. Good response from them, the last 2 goals. Just when we thought Launceston were just going up a couple of levels, and they've made the most of the last couple of inside 50s they've had. It was the Dom White lowering of the eyes to hit McCulloch with a free kick, and then another free kick for Barrow after they won the centre clearance. North Hobart get it out to a 10-point lead.
10-10 to 8-12. We go back to the middle of the ground. Harper up against Jackson. Jackson flicks it over the top, but the Blues first to it. Harper can't quite get in there. House climbs on top. It'll be a ball up. Jackson leans in. Harper goes at the ball. It's blocked off. No one wants to take possession here because they know they're just going to get claimed immediately, and eventually Pope will hold it up. Jones pushing up to the contest. Want to get involved here. How will the defending champs respond? 10 points in arrears. Harper slaps it on the boot. Height just overrunning it. Canny goes in. Couldn't quite gather. Sandrick. Did he drop that one? He did.
He just tried to do too much there, Jack Sandrick.
Needed the first option.
He did.
Didn't have time for the second. Polfreman got him.
And you see Polfreman can potentially run to the right and get some extra distance here. No, he chooses.
He's in the pocket, went looking for height. Groenewegen was there too, over his head. Canny trying to get there. They circle in, clear and kick has gone straight to Hines. On the arc of 50, he marks.
Well, as is the modern way, the Launceston were all set up behind the footy and formed a wall so they could lock it in. So it was always going to be dangerous for North Hobart. A quick hack kick out. And Hines will take his best effort, I would have thought, from here.
Jaden Hines will kick from the paint of 50. He sends it on its way. It's working back majestically. Jaden Hines with a wonderful goal, and we're back to a 4-point ball game. What a response. And neither side is able to string goals together here. They just keep responding. It's a one-score game, and you just get the sense we're going right down to the wire with this one round.
Well, in fairness, the skill level execution across the second half of this game has really lifted, hasn't it? We were probably bemoaning the fact of scrappy, windy conditions, particularly in the first two quarters, but this game's really opened up and become quite free-flowing in the last quarter, and that was a beautiful finish from Hines.
4 points once again at the margin. Jackson slaps it down. Stephenson couldn't gather, deflected off his boots. Sandrick wins it. He slams it towards the half-forward line. Terrell with the spoil, and the Blues regain the ball. House sends them towards half-forward. High presenting up at the football. He marks. He's got a wide-open 50. He goes looking for Groenewegen. Positioned himself. Couldn't quite take the mark. Campbell saw it away, but Groenewegen impacted the clearing handball. Demons able to recover it, though, and Williams takes the mark.
Looks dangerous height, doesn't he, every time he gets the footy. Oh, it's a terrible kick from Williams.
And just as we were saying that the standard of kicking had greatly improved, we go back to the first half. Under no pressure, Williams slices it out on the full.
It's going to be dangerous now because Riley, you think, will push his deep.
He does just that. He goes looking for big Groenewegen. The tilt timber there. Canny closing. Sandrick scooped the handball over the top. Slammed on the boot, and Barrow takes the relieving mark and told to steady it down by Williams. Because once again that blue wall was set up at half forward, so they need to even the numbers up a little. Barrow drives it to the contest. McCulloch presenting up. A decisive spoil. Horshman couldn't quite gather. Slammed on the boot there by Barwick, and now it's an open field foot race. Spencer White will be first to it. Spencer White gets there. He gets claimed from behind by Foley. Still in dispute. Gillow leading back. And unable to get there in time, Hilda, and they see it through. Those tired legs in the final term being tested there. But the Blues survive, and Hines able to saunter out of defence and just punch one. A good ball there to Cowley. Cowley gets it moving quickly to Paul Freeman. In the middle of the ground, Paul Freeman, he's got Riley screaming for it. That's where he heads, but just put it a bit too far behind him. He's able to go back and retrieve it. And then he'll head further down the line to Hyatt. Continues his outstanding day. He's got some marking targets inside forward 50. Will this stay in for Groenewegen? What's the call? A throw in, says the umpire.
Decision, I think.
I tend to agree. You've got to handle it just before the line. And completed it out of play. 5-point ball game. The Blues pushing hard in attack here, trying to retake the lead as we tick towards red time. One down, Gillow through the pack, got a handball away. Sandrick smashes it out of there. Hines well positioned. So too was Riley. No one could take the mark, just towed off the deck forward. Barwick first to it. He flicked the handball, it was a bit too sharp for Norton. Was that high against Hines running through?
Yeah, I thought it might have been Sam Wright. They could have had a free kick.
He looked a little guilty, Jake Hines. At a glance at the umpire, nothing doing. Big contest this at half forward. Jackson against Harper. Spinning through was Pope. Slammed it forward towards Monks. Presenting up, trying to hold off the defender. But Tyrrell was there, and then Barrow climbs on top of him.
They did well, North Hobart. Monks and Barrow just not let that footy spill out. Give their midfielders a chance again.
Harper trying to work his way to the front. Jackson couldn't clear it, and then Hines picked it up and pumped them deep inside 50 towards Groenewegen. Campbell takes the ball, tries to shrug off Gillow and does so. Has a bounce. then clears defensive 50. McGuinness has 2 to beat. The numbers went out. Harper behind them. His kick was spoiled. And now McGuinness and the Demons are out here. Can they get it into the corridor where they have numbers? They do. They work it inside to Stephenson. Stephenson steps it up, looking for White. And Spencer White will kick for goal from 40 metres out to try and extend the lead to 11 points.
Well, they're able to win the footy back, and he hasn't had a big game, Brad Tilbury. We've hadn't called him much, but it was his smother. And they were able to win the footy back and then get it to the outside, and then found White, who's always had natural athleticism. One of the things that got him drafted in his time at St Kilda. He's worked really hard today for mine.
Enormous kick coming up to put the margin to 11 points. We've ticked into red time. Spencer White sends it on its way. The goal umpire scrambling. He's missed. And it's an even 1-goal lead. We're into red time here. 4 points the margin at UTAS. What an afternoon in the Tasmanian State League this is. And what a grandstand finish we have in store here. Charging out of defence is Foley. Ran into a bit of trouble, but Monk's lost his footing. He sends it right into the bullseye. Park back there was Jackson, but he had it robbed by Hyatt. Somehow came away with it, but then he ran into Sandrick. Jackson follows up with a tackle. We'll have a stoppage. Hyatt wants the mark. Umpire not interested. Pressure moments here. Jackson in the ruck. It falls the way of House. He gets an awkward kick away. Bounces out into dispute. Canny went the man rather than the ball. He tried to let Hyde in, and somehow coming away with it was Roberts. Leafhaber then found Bingham, and Bingham's got some room to manoeuvre down the wing. He has a bounce. He sends them inside 50. Zach Barrow couldn't quite take the mark. Spencer White in there. Coming in support was Barwick. It spills out. Again, Barrow following up. He applies a great tackle. Wins the ball back. Ball back in dispute. Somehow blocking it was Foley. A despairing smother there from Barrow. Leafhaber now comes in. He slides across the line. And somehow it stays in, but it'll be a stoppage in forward 50. There's some intensity about this one, Cam Brown.
Both teams desperate. North Hobart, you sense the occasion here.
Another goal could be absolutely pivotal. He wouldn't win it, but it would go a long way to doing so. One down by McCulloch. Tyrrell came through over the shoulder. Free kick will go the way of the Blues. Tyrrell.
We just need to keep your composure. You can't afford to be over-exuberant in some of the one-on-ones and give away free kicks at the wrong stage in the wrong areas of the ground.
Sends it to the wing. Jackson. He's paid the mark, the big fella. That's a crucial contested mark.
He's been a big body for them today, hasn't he? He'll be in no hurry.
The old cliche, they don't get any shorter as the game wears on. And Jackson, everyone in front of him here, basically. It's a crowded 50, and he'll just thump it in the McCulloch direction. Couldn't quite complete it. Fell to Leafhaber. Handed off to Barrow. Snaps on goal. Zach Barrow just offline. But it's a handy point.
He's a classy player.
7 points now, the margin. We've ticked by almost 23 minutes. Still time here for the Blues. They go looking for Hines. He backs back. Stephenson fisted it. Ball bounced up towards Sandrick. He flicked it across to Roberts. Roberts has a look, then pumps them again towards Barrow. He couldn't quite mark. It was Barwick rather. Off hands. Oh, he's got a man on over the top. All out the back on his own is McCulloch. And he can go back and surely win the game for the Demons.
Well, he found himself out the back. And if he's smart here, he'll just take up a lot of time on the clock, because he actually could have played on and kicked the goal, but he made the right decision. Take a little bit of time off the clock, take your full 30 seconds, as they say.
Josh Bingham again.
You don't want to get ahead of yourself, Drew, but you'd struggle to think a bigger win for North Hobart if they go and win this in the last 3 or 4 years. For them,
it would be enormous, and this will surely do it to extend the lead to 13 points late in the fourth quarter. Jack McCulloch does it, and they come from everywhere. The Demons lead by 13 late, and they're on the verge of an enormous upset.
Well, they've been important, both the big men. McCulloch with 3 goals today, Hugh Jackson with 2, and they've just stood up when they've needed them. I think Spencer White's been important too, as a bit of a hybrid forward for them at different stages. And they look like they've just invested too much in this game to let it go away. 13 points. And Launceston are going to have to kick 3 goals in the last 4 or 5 minutes. I can't see them doing it, Drew. I could be wrong, but North Hobart. And just goes to show in this competition, if you're just off a little bit.
I don't know if they have the time left, the Blues. They certainly need a quick break here. Can they find one through Paul Freeman? They're boring in. Gillow picks it up. He'll send them towards half forward. How will it bounce? Pretty clean stuff there from Ship. He turns it around the corner. Porthman palmed off to McCormick. Gave it to Hines. Hines with a big chance here. And he responds. And it's back to 7 points. As Jake Hines dissects the middle. We've hit 25 minutes and it is boiling over again.
Maybe I've spoken too early. It was a smart finish from Jake Hines. Now, be careful here if you're North Hobart. All Launceston will try and do is try and milk and suck a free kick here.
Absolutely, and you would not want to be the man to give away a free kick in this situation. A 7-point ball game.
Blood rule.
Into red time.
Not sure who's coming off, but there is a blood rule. Maybe, is it Jack Sandrick in the hands of the trainers, Drew?
He got sent to the deck, Jack Sandrick. And he's not happy. Looks like Dylan Riley, the man, he's right up in his grill. Furious with the treatment, but Sandrick's going to have to go off. It's a 7-point ball game. We don't know how long he's left. There could still be a couple of minutes here.
We had a few goals. Kicked this last quarter.
76-72, the Northern Bombers over the Tigers full time up at UTAS. Perhaps a day of upsets in the TSL. Can the Demons do likewise here? Their margin is 7. Harper wins it over the top. Hines ran past it. Good tackle laid there on Paul Freeman.
So if you're North Hobart, uncontested marks are a premium here. If you can control the footy, take some time off the clock.
Surprised they don't have a loose behind the ball at the moment, the Demons. Here's Leafhammer on top of it. Gillow climbs in, couldn't quite get it. Smash forward and they'll send themselves towards the Barrow direction. He had a wild swat at it, couldn't claim it. Flicked over the top to Presnell. Presnell sells some candy and then Barrow gets him.
He's been enormous in the last quarter, Barrow. I know him as a skillful player, but it's some of his defensive efforts. Now in this situation, you'd think he'd just want to go long down the line. They'd be happy with even the ball going out of bounds here at North Hobart. It's a smart play, Barrow. I reckon that's where he'll go. All
the forwards were pointing to the pocket. The bench was pointing pocket. That's where he heads. The spoil came and hits the deck. Slapped on out of there towards the line. Groenewegen will try and track it down. He gets there first. Didn't quite keep it in though.
That'll suit the D's.
We don't know how long he's left. We've gone by 27.25 minutes. They might not have time for 2 goals. Might be one where they need to get the behind first and then get the goal from the kick out.
North Hobart have got Dom White pushing back behind the football. Cowley going with him though to make it a 1-on-1.
Over the top by Stephenson to Norton. Wright was charged down. Norton with a strong tackle there on Ship, and he can't escape it.
Yeah, it didn't want to be potentially dangerous for Norton to bring it back inside to Sam Wright, but to his credit, as he's done all day, he's got in there and made it tough for his opposition.
As Harper sends them towards half forward, Monks just smashes it away and says anywhere but here will do. Sam Cowley first back to it. He's got Jones and finds him by hand. Can Jones find a target inside forward 50? It's all Demons back here. Hines made a good contest of it. Sandrick just overrunning it. Ball back in dispute. Can they find a free man? Snapping it on the boot and driving it home. And we have a 1-point ball game at North Hobart. Oh boy.
I think it might have been Tyrrell, was it, with the left foot?
He's one of the defenders, I think it was.
Another snap across the body.
It was Tyrrell, and it is a 1-point ball game at North Hobart Oval. They have been elite with their snaps today.
They have.
11 goals, I reckon 8 of them have been snaps.
I might have gone too early. I thought it was just going to be too tough for Launceston to kick 3 in a short period of time. So, gee, it's a big centre clearance now, isn't it?
1-point ball game, dying embers of the game. Jackson in the middle. Can the Demons hold on, or are the Blues going to come over the top of them for a famous win? There can't be long left. We've travelled 29 minutes.
1-on-1s all over the ground. Launceston have got one back behind.
Siren! They don't have the time. The Demons have done it by the narrowest of margins. The Blues kept on pushing, cut it back to a point, but time beats them. And what a win for the Demons. You can't say they didn't deserve it. They fought hard all afternoon. It was a seesawing contest, and it ends 11-13 to 11-12. It wasn't always the prettiest, but I challenge you to find a more entertaining game of football than that one.
Oh, absolutely loved it, enjoyed it, and it really picked up in the second half from a skill level point of view. And full credit to North Hobart. Launceston wasn't their day-to-day. They just seemed to be off a little bit right from the word go, and a couple of their leaders worked really hard and got them back in the game. But you probably felt on balance North Hobart deserved to win this game, and we mentioned probably one of their biggest wins in the last, probably 2 or 3 seasons for mine. And they'll be excited because there's some youngsters in that team that really stood up late in the game. I thought their tools are really good at different stages, and just their effort, their defensive pressure, their ability to tackle, bring it to ground when they needed to. And they played with real spirit, intensity and endeavour, so they got the 4 points, and full credit to them. They would have been devastated had they lost this game. And hopefully they can move forward, onwards and upwards for them, because they've certainly improved, haven't they? Since last season, they seem to be better organised, better structured, better coached, and a great result for them. And Launceston, they'll be disappointed to lose this game. We know they've had a few players out coming into this game, and they'll be stronger with some of the under-18 representative boys coming in the back half of this year. But they weren't good enough today, and in the end, full credit to North Hobart.
Yeah, I thought when the Blues kicked the first 2 of that final term, the senior leaders got around the ball. They had Harbour, Hines, the big names were in there, Paul Freeman. They kicked the first 2 goals, and just thought they're going to run over the top of them here, the Blues. But you can't question the willingness, the endeavour, the fight in this Demons side. They just kept at it. They responded again. And indeed, it was a real seesawing final term. It ebbed and flowed, but they were not going to give up and allow the more experienced bodies from Launceston to run over the top of them. They responded fantastically, and a massive win. You can see what it means to the playing group. Their reactions when the siren went told quite the story. As big a win as they've had in many years, I think, North Hobart, that one, and a well-deserved one.
Yep, full credit to them, and what a great game of footy, Drew. Love the call.
Absolutely was. A pleasure bringing that one to you on the TSL live stream here. 11-13-79. North Hobart defeats Launceston 11-12-78 by the barest of margins. A thriller at North Hobart Oval, and the Demons emerging victorious. And Andrew Cooling and Cam Brown bringing the action to you. Hope you've enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next week.